Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the David Hittle Real Estate Show. I am your host, as always. I am David Hittle, a realtor, real estate agent with United Real Estate Louisville, and it is my honor and joy to come back here for another episode. Today is Sunday, October 30th, and it is Hug a Sheep Day. So if you have a sheep close by, go hug your sheep and let them know how awesome they are. But before we get started, I would love for everyone who is interested in real estate, anybody who's thinking about buying or selling a home, visit my website, Shopkentuckyhomes.com, and on that website you can you can find your next home. You can find out the value of your current home, and you can see what is happening in your real estate market. So just like last week, Facebook seems to not want to be able to connect. It is trying to reconnect. It is amazing how bad Facebook has gotten with their connectivity issues. But we are still here live on YouTube, and that is where we will go. So sorry, Facebook. Sorry, everyone who would be watching on Facebook. Have to skip on over to YouTube in order to be able to watch the show because Facebook does not want to connect. So today we're going to be talking about what happens to housing when there is a recession. We're also going to talk about how pre-approval is a critical first step on your home buying journey. And we'll also talk about how millennials are the driving force for today's buyer demand. Now, I apologize yet again. I am just shutting off Facebook because it doesn't want to cooperate. And if it doesn't want to cooperate, then we don't need to even be on there right now. So let's get started first with the millennials and how they are the driving force for today's home buyer demand. So today at noon, I sent out a newsletter to everyone who's in my database, and that newsletter indicates that here locally in our Louisville, Lexington, Northern Kentucky market, we have over 5,000 listings on the market actively today. That puts us at about 1.5 months worth of inventory. And that number, 1.5, being below 6 months, means that we are in a seller's market. And that is because demand is outpacing supply. So as this article entails, millennials are the driving force of today's buyer demand. So if you are thinking about selling your home, but you are wondering if buyers are still out there, you should know that there are still people who are searching for homes to buy today, and that your house may be exactly what they are looking for. The millennial generation has since been dubbed the renter generation. And that namesake, however, may not be appropriate for them anymore. Millennials are the largest generation. They are actually a significant driving force for buyer demand in the housing market today. And here is why. While millennials understand that mortgage rates are going higher and that is going to make it more challenging to afford a home today, many millennials are still eager and able to buy homes, whether it's their first or if they are moving up. That's in large part because of the value they place on education. A recent article from First American says that millennials may be the most educated generation in our nation's history. And because of that, they tend to earn higher wages. And that translates to greater home buying power. Odetta Cucci, the department deputy chief economist at First American, explains it this way. In 2020, millennials with a bachelor's degree had a median household income of over $100,000, while those with at least a graduate degree had a median household income of over $120,000. We compare those income levels with the median household income of millennials with just a high school degree or some college, which is $60,000. The earning power benefits of higher education are undeniable. Millennials' pursuit of higher education is good news for the housing market because education is the key to unlock both greater earning power and, in turn, home ownership. So, since wages are one of the key factors that determines the affordability when it comes to buying a home, these higher earnings can help millennials achieve their home ownership goals. Another reason is that a number of studies are showing that the millennial generation, or how the millennial generation views home ownership, and how they are uniquely positioned to define the housing market moving forward. As the largest generation, the volume of potential millennial home buyers will have an impact on the market for years to come. And as a result, Forbes.com wrote an article all about this, where they said, quote, at about 80 million strong, millennials currently make up the largest share of home buyers at 43% in the U.S., according to the recent National Association of Realtors report, which I'm a member of. Simply due to their numbers and eagerness to become homeowners, this cohort is quite literally shaping the next frontier of the home buying process. Again, once known as the rental generation, millennials have proven to be savvy buyers who are quite nimble in their quest to own real estate. In fact, I don't think it's a stretch to say they are the key to the overall health and stability of the current housing market. So, if you are thinking of selling your home, there's got to be people out there that are thinking of selling their home. Your equity has risen significantly. There's a whole lot of money in your home, a whole lot of profit in your home. If you have been thinking about selling your house but are hesitant because you worry there is no buyer demand or that buyer demand has disappeared in the face of higher mortgage rates, know that that isn't the case for everyone. And while demand has eased this year, millennials are still looking for homes. Mark Fleming, the chief economist at First American, says in an article, quote, while not the frenzy of 2021, the largest living generation, the millennials, will continue to age into their prime home buying years, creating a demographic tailwind for the housing market. So the bottom line here is that millennials are interested in and well positioned to achieve their home ownership dreams. So if you are ready to sell your house, know that it may be just what this generation is looking for. So it's always important, and as realtors, we do comparisons between what is happening in the market, whether things are starting to slow down or pick up, or slow down and pick up. And every month on my Facebook page, on my Facebook business page, and then shared to my Facebook personal page, I do a market update for our area. I try to get all of the counties that I serve. I try to get those. I get the data. I don't try. I get the data and put it together in a easy to understand chart by county. So it makes it easy to see what is happening from month to month. And here in December, I'll probably try to do one for the entire year, just seeing what has happened, what has occurred this year. And of course, December's numbers will reflect the end of November, but that will be as close as we can get without going into the new year. In January, we'll be able to see exactly what occurred in 2022, and we'll be able to see how the housing market has been affected by the shift that is taking place due to these higher mortgage interest rates. But one of the big things, if you are considering purchasing a home, is getting pre-approved. Pre-approval is a critical step on your home buying journey. So if you are planning to buy a home this year, one of the first steps that on your journey is getting pre-approved. I actually believe that pre-approval is the second step in the process, because the first step should be connecting with your realtor or connecting with a realtor, because your realtor has contacts in the lending industry who they will be able to get you in contact with to get you the best deal possible. So especially in today's market, when mortgage rates are higher than they were just a few months ago, getting a pre-approval is a game changer. And here's why. First off, what is a pre-approval? To better understand why pre-approval is key, it's important to know what pre-approval is. And the Mortgage Reports explains it this way, quote, "When you are ready to take the leap into home ownership, your first step is mortgage pre-approval. A mortgage pre-approval is when a lender determines you are qualified for a home loan. Your pre-approval letter shows the maximum loan amount that you are approved for, your home buying budget, as well as the specific interest rate and loan term you can expect." Now, in today's world, where every single week we are seeing higher and higher and higher and higher interest rates, it is important that when you go get your pre-approval, that you lock in your loan rate, you lock in your interest rate. Because individuals who have not locked in their interest rate are seeing interest rates go from where they were at 6.5 up into the 8s now, because mortgage interest rates this week hit and exceeded 7%. As part of the pre-approval process, however, your lender will look at your finances to determine what they would be willing to loan you. Your pre-approval is what your lender is willing to loan you for your next house. From there, your lender will give you a pre-approval letter to help you understand your true price range and how much money you can borrow. That can make it easier when you set out to search for homes, because you'll know your overall numbers. And with the mortgage rates rising and impacting affordability, a solid understanding of your numbers is even more important. Pre-approval can also signal to a potential seller that you are a serious buyer. Realtor.com puts it this way, quote, "Getting pre-approved can actually improve your chances of falling into the seller's good graces. And you will want to get it done as early as possible in the home buying process." So even though bidding wars are easing this year as the market shifts, pre-approval is still an important part of making a stronger offer. It can help a seller feel more confident because it shows that you are serious about their home and that you are a qualified buyer. So the bottom line here is this: getting pre-approved for a mortgage is critical. It helps not only you understand what you can borrow, but it also shows sellers that you are serious about purchasing their home. You should connect with a local real estate professional like myself, who can then connect you with a trusted lender so that you have the tools that you need to succeed as a home buyer in today's market. And that's the tough part right now. I have many buyer clients that are interested in purchasing a home, but the homes that they look at are gone before they even can see them. And while the number of days on market have increased, still certain price points are still showing that homes are moving quickly. So the lower price points up to that maybe 150 to that 200,000 range, those homes are still moving quick because millennials see a $150,000 home or a $200,000 home and think bargain. Back when I purchased my first home, if I saw a home under 100,000 or up to 100,000, I thought bargain. So just a short 5 years from there, we see now how $100,000 is not going to get you the home that most people desire. Most people who are looking at homes now are looking up to that 200,000 range just because of the way the market has shifted. So that is what is happening in our local market. And it is always important to communicate with your realtor about what you are looking for and your price points, because they will know, your realtor will know, I will know what is happening in that price range around our area. But there may be a more serious thing heading our way for the housing market, and that is what happens to housing when there is a recession. And of course, since the 2008 housing bubble burst, the word recession strikes a strong emotional chord than it ever did before. And while there's some debate around whether we're officially in a recession right now, the good news is experts say a recession today would likely be mild and the economy would rebound quickly. And to be open and honest with you, we were in a recession between the first quarter and the second quarter. The first quarter had negative GDP growth. The second quarter had negative GDP growth. 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP growth definitionally means that we were in a recession. However, when the third quarter numbers just came out, I read it on the news, the third quarter numbers showed a positive GDP growth. So, in other words, when we had 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP growth, we now have 1 positive quarter with GDP growth. We have moved out of a recessionary territory. We're moving more into positive territory. So we're getting out of the recession territory. Now, definitionally, I'm unsure whether it takes 2 consecutive months of positive GDP growth before we're out of the recession or not. But I believe the 2 consecutive months mean we are in a recession. Now that we have moved out of being in negative GDP growth, we should now be coming out of the recession. But the 2022 CEO Outlook from KPMG says this: global CEOs see a mild and short recession. And that would be true if we are no longer in a recession due to the positive GDP growth. Yet optimistic about global recovery and global economy over the 3-year horizon. More than 8 out of 10 anticipate a recession over the next 12 months, with more than half expecting it to be mild and short. So to add to that sentiment, housing is typically one of the first sectors to rebound during an economic slowdown. Ali Wolf, the chief economist at Zonda, put it this way. They said housing is traditionally one of the first sectors to slow as the economy shifts, but it is also one of the first to rebound. And part of that rebound is tied to what has historically happened to mortgage rates during recessions. So, taking a look back at what has occurred during recessions, and this is a recession meaning recessions means falling mortgage rates. So, the mortgage rate changed during the last 6 recessions. In 2020, in the 2020 recession, mortgage rates fell 1%. In the 2008 recession, mortgage rates fell 1.13%. In 2001, mortgage rates fell 0.63%. Way back in 1991, more than 20 years ago, or 30 years ago now, mortgage rates fell 2.25. Back in the 1980s, mortgage rates fell 5%. Of course, their highs back in the 1980s were in the 18s to 12s to 18. So a 5% drop was great. And then in the 1980 recession, mortgage rates fell 4.25. So Fortune magazine explains that mortgage rates typically fall during an economic slowdown. Over the past 5 recessions, mortgage rates have fallen an average of 1.8 percentage points from the peak seen during the recession to the through. And in many cases, they continued to fall after the fact, as it takes some time to turn things around even when the recession is technically over. So again, while history does not always repeat itself, we can learn from and find comfort in the trends of what has happened in the past. So if you are thinking about buying or selling a home, you can make the best decision by working with a trusted real estate professional. That way you have the expert advice on what a recession could mean for the housing market. The bottom line here is this: history shows that you don't need to fear the word recession when it comes to the housing market. And if you have questions about what is happening today, we should connect so that you have the expert advice and insights you can trust. So everyone, I want to thank you all for tuning in today. I'm going to let you all go back to football. I understand it's a Sunday, it's football season, and that's pretty much what everybody is doing today, watching football, myself included. Today is Hug a Sheep Day. So if you know a sheep, if you like sheep, go give your sheep a hug and thank them and celebrate them for all that they provide us on a daily basis. I would also ask that you visit my website, Shopkentuckyhomes.com. And on Shopkentuckyhomes.com, you can find your next home. You can get the value of your current home. You can even communicate with me via my website, Shopkentuckyhomes.com. So until next Sunday, it will be November. This year is flying by, if I do say so myself. Until next Sunday, I want to thank you all for tuning in. Hopefully Facebook will cooperate next week. But if not, we will be here live on YouTube. And I will see you all then. Have a great day.